let me record. I think this video is really good. I understand where he's coming from. I think that this video does really well to paint the picture. However, and even though I do like this video, right, I feel that when it comes to how Tekken 8 plays, it is because we were in Tekken 7 for so long, we forget how Tag 2 and Tekken 5 play. Generally, right, movement was king, and I agree. However, as we saw with Tekken 6 and 7 and 8, they were slowly gutting movement, and then like Tag 2, they really ramped it up. But I would have to sit here and say Tekken 7 is just as much polarizing from the technical formula as Tekken 8. The only difference is you get a whole lot of time to breathe for no reason. There's a lot of breathing room in Tekken 7, and I think that's not okay. Tekken 8, there's not a lot of breathing room. However, I can sit here and say you can create that breathing room if you can force that threat upon your opponent. It's a very perfect example of this is like Sendo versus Ippo in the beginning of that match, right? I'm gonna just mute this real quick. It is not Sendo gets his breathing room in this match because Ippo's psyched out. As you can see, he is literally imprinting fear, and that's fine. I think if you're playing a fighting game, this should be allowed to happen. But if you give your players a way to like get out of situations very easily, I think it's not here. I think it's right here when probably compared to this kid's skinny body, the amount of energy he can store is far more. So you can see that if you're giving people time to back off and regather themselves, you lose a lot of that ability to force a pressure upon your opponent of fear. This is what I think a lot of fighting games in the past kind of gave leeway, because a lot of them is a lot slower when it comes to like how engagements go, which is fine. I'm not going to say that they were bad games, and absolutely not. I love Street Fighter 4 because that's when that I started playing. I didn't get competitive in it, but I enjoyed it. Street Fighter 5 was still a slow man's game. It wasn't really like to pressure offense against your opponent. They had comeback mechanics, which is a different argument all to itself. But with that being said, Tekken 8, it gave us all these tools to put a lot of pressure on the people. And is it okay? What do you mean, huh? I'm willing to answer any question. What do you mean? Street Fighter 5 ain't slow. I would generally say it is slow. Street Fighter is generally a slow game. How it paces itself is generally slow, in my opinion. Well, let's do this, I guess. This is gonna be a lot longer than I wanted. I guess this will work. So let's see here. Let's start the round, shall we? This is getting harder to get to. So let's start the round. Fireball, walks in, presses buttons. Firing is staying inside the zone And right here, both players are keeping at a nice safe distance. Checks. Once again, tries to move out. This may be a bad example, but as you can see, those buttons is staying in generally. And I will say for Karin, getting stunned is really good for her. All right, so okay, let's switch sides. Okay, that's generally fast. So startup. And now we're in the tension part of it. One thing I can say about Street Fighter 5 is that I may be wrong in the case of it being slow, but this is again looking at the higher level of play. I know when I was playing Street Fighter 5, me personally, it was very slow for me. And again, that it could be just the level of play that I was playing. That's one thing I can say on that. For me, when playing it, it's slow. Watching it, this is generally fast gameplay, and it might just be the level of where I'm at in Street Fighter 5. Yeah. Yeah, looking at the gameplay, I would say it's more so what level I was when I was playing Street Fighter 5. If that makes sense. I will retract my statement that Street Fighter 5 was a slow game. But I will say that the level that I was playing at, which like gold 1, so like silver 4 or silver 1, gold 4, it's much more a slower game. It's a much more slower game. But that shows you a big difference in like how the game plays. When we say a game is slow, and I know a lot of people would like to refer to a more competitive or more sort of high level because it's the best showing that you can have in the game. I would honestly also say that most high level doesn't represent most of the gameplay that you'll have on your journey to reaching the top. Tekken's 8 is probably the one that sits here, and there's a close representation from low level Tekken 8 to high level Tekken 8 that's somewhat similar. Because what is good at low level is still good at high level. I will definitely eat my words on that one. 100%. But going back to this video, right? Letting rounds breathe, generally I don't agree with. For the sole fact that it breaks a lot of tension. Don't get me wrong, Tekken 7 back then, and especially at the level I was playing at, was not slow until Arslan Ash showed up. Because the funny thing about Tekken players, their play styles do change depending on who's sitting at the top. And Arslan Ash came to the scene with a poke heavy play style, which slowed just playing the game down immensely for me. I don't know if the stream is live. I've been seeing that. Okay, I'm surprised we didn't have any drops. Was there a drop in quality? Anything? I saw like with the internet went down for a hot minute. Oh, okay, there it is. Stream died. Okay. I'll continue saying my point then. Dream die. I'm gonna continue my point. So in the case for like where I was in Tekken 7, which wasn't really I'll be the first to say it. I was in Tekken 7, I was a yellow rank. I could barely keep yellow. I was trying to get into orange, but I was in yellow ranks. Yeah, I saw. I literally saw it die while I was speaking. I was just like, ooh, Dream is dead. Oh no. I'm gonna dismiss this ad, even though it's like 30 seconds, it doesn't matter. But yeah, yellow ranks was the highest I can get in Tekken 7. And even then, when Arslan Ash finally hit the scene, it got very slow. A lot of people started playing slower pace because they were trying to copy Arslan Ash's style. And I just got super bored of the game at that point. Because like, once you're playing that poke style, you're not taking a lot of risk. And I hate it when it feels like people are trying to play perfect, because it just feels like I'm playing against a robot and I'm good. Once I started having that feeling that, yo, the people I'm playing against are literally just robots, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to play this game anymore. I'm fine. However, with the messy style that Tekken 8 is, it never feels like you're playing against a robot. It feels like you're playing against somebody who is fighting for their fucking life. And you can feel it in the ways that they take their attacks. The ad breaks still happen. What the hell? And that's what I like most about Tekken. It feels like you are clawing tooth and nail. Too many clankers is the right word. But in Tekken 8, it feels like the opponent is clawing tooth and nail just to hold their ground. And I enjoy that a lot about Tekken 8. Because of that feeling, and because I'm most of the time, now that I'm in the rank that I'm in, like I'm in Tekken God and Tekken Emperor, I'm fighting tooth and nail just to hold that rank. It feels so good. That type of tension, I always want to have that type of tension in a fight. But I get it. That's not everybody. That's just me. I know I fight for my life, especially against GODs. Exactly. But I understand that that's not everybody. That's just me. I can't sit here and tell people that, hey, this is the right way of Tekken. I can sit here and say, this version of Tekken suits me more than it suits anybody else that I know that plays the game and does commentary on it. Because again, I hated Tekken 7. I enjoyed Tag 2. I enjoyed Tekken 5. Tekken 6 was weird to me in general. I ain't gonna lie to you. Tekken 6 is when I started playing online, and then I realized I didn't know how to play Tekken. I maybe I went around against higher ranks. Exactly. But see, I know why it's made for me is that's because I'm used to being in these guess for your life, hope that you can figure this out situation. That's the type of fighting game I enjoy. I like being in these like high risk, high reward situations all the time. I like this gambling nature. And like, don't get me wrong, Tekken 7 has its moments, but it's very few and far between. And to me, it just wasn't the Tekken game that was going to let me sink in. Like, it's funny that people compare Tekken 7 and Tag 2 and be like, oh, well, Tag 2 is a much better game. But I'm like, yo, Tag 2 is more reminiscent to Tekken 8. The only difference is you have movement in Tekken Tag 2. You do not have movement in Tekken 8, and you have a lot more plus frames in Tekken 8 than you do in Tag 2. There's very small differences between those two games where I'm sitting here as like, yo, they made 2 different patches to Tag 2. It would be the same goddamn game that it is in 7. I mean, not 7, but 8. All it took was 2. All they had to do was add tracking and plus frames. You would be playing Tekken 8 with movement and tag 2. That's all. That's literally it. That's literally it. Actually, no, I hate gacha games. Funnily enough, I don't like gacha games. But I'm gonna go ahead and sum this up because it's like 1:45 and I need to be to bed. I'm a gambler, but I'm not a gacha player. Like if my biggest issue with gacha games is like it doesn't feel good. If that makes sense. Like yeah, you can pull for it, but it's like it doesn't feel good to end it on that note. Versus like actual gambling where if you win, it feel really good, but if you lose, it feel really bad. I like it when those stakes are there. Like when they say, yo, Dragon Ball, the fucking power levels and the creep keeps going higher and higher. And it's like, oh, well, it used to just be, well, world domination. Now it's blow up the planet. Now it's blow up the solar system. Now the universe is at stake. I'm always going to be the guy be like, and where is the stakes now? I need to know how invested these stakes are so I know where we're going with this. Like, it's crazy how good the granola arc is. And it wasn't even staked. It was just a nigga's pride at that line. And I'm just like, that's some pretty big stakes. Them shits be hitting different. How is multiverse? Well, now multiple timelines. Exactly. And I be enjoying that shit. There's a reason why I tell people, like, yo, shonen anime, that's my goat right there. They be serving the same shit on the same platter, and I be like, yeah, give me that shit right there, bro. I want it. Shonen anime be out here serving the same thing, same hot balls, and I be like, I don't need nothing else, but I need that. But that's just me. I know myself to a T. I know what I like. I know exactly how I like it presented. I don't need much. I just need the stakes to be up there as much. And that's the problem with Tekken 7, in my personal opinion. During the match, the stakes get so low that it's just not interesting anymore. Tekken 8, the stakes are high, baby. And it can swing a moment's notice. You have no control. And I think that's a fine environment for a fighting game. Having all the control in the world or trying to impose your will is a part of the player's duty. If you cannot impose your will on the fighting scenario, then guess what? You deserve to lose. However, if you can impose your will on the fighting scenario, you deserve to win. Case in point, how I believe fighting games should operate. A lot of people believe that if you can impose your will, you should be given a moment in time to at least think it through. And some people also believe you shouldn't have that time at all. Granted, video games are video games for a reason. Everybody has their version of a fighting game that they like. Tekken 8, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and to some extent DNF Duel. And there's another game. Hold on. 2XKO, I still need to get a couple more days. Uni, I swear to God, people think you have time to think. You do not. DNF Duel is a good game in my opinion. It just doesn't have support. That's it. It just doesn't have support. DNF Duel is a game, is a version of a game that I know I enjoy playing. Just doesn't have support. Strive, also another game that I do enjoy. I just don't like what they did to Ino, and I've been reeling from it ever since. So I be looking at this game like, I'll play you, but what you did to Ino, it keeps me at bay. And Type Lumina, because Type Lumina is time to breathe. Nah, look what they did to my baby. The only reason why I stay away from this game is because Ino is not the Ino that I know, and I'm just like, yo, I want her back. But yeah, Tekken 8, Dragon Ball Fighters, Type Lumina, because I still like this game. In Impact, I like this game a lot. Even if how bad it is, I do like this game. Drive, Dragon Ball Fighters, BB Tag, because there's no such thing as breathing in BB Tag. You breathe the air and you pray that you didn't die. And last but not least, BBCF is the one game that plays closer to that slower style, that middle in the way, that I'm okay with. I'm willing to give CF a pass because it was the one game that fully brought me into more so the meta community for like fighting games, while also playing like meta fighters or doing meta combos and such. Also brought me like into the streaming space pretty much. Don't get me wrong, I stream fighters first, but CF is what helped me get on my feet, and it's what it is. People died at Evil Friends and Nin Impact. Hey, Nin Impact is the epitome of, did you have the weapon? No, you died. Sir, are you holding a weapon? No, I guess she's dead. I can't believe it. I'm fine with games like that. It's Kuso game to the max, but this is fine. I got hit. Exactly, I got hit. Well, you know, next round. I mean, to be honest, if they would have made Hunter x Hunter first the ones, no losers bracket, I would have watched that shit in a heartbeat, because I know they would have been done in at least an hour. In at least an hour flat. They would have been done with that game an hour flat. No questions asked. But yeah, like this is. Oh yeah, that game would have to be at 3 out of 5. However, shocking cost. Watch this video. I think this is a good video in general. I know I'm yapping. I'm gonna have to like, this is not like a structured talk. Because he also talks about like growing pains, you know, changes that happen from 7 to 8. Like in general, this is a really good video. However, unlike a lot of the community, I like Chip. I like Heat. Rage Art I don't like too much, but I understand why it's there, so I accept it. It's one of those like necessary evils that I'm just like, nah, we kind of need that here. Especially in Tekken 8. Like Tekken 7, nah, you don't really need Rage Art, right? Let it be what it is. Tekken 8, you need Rage Art, bro. They need it in the game, bro. Bro, that man's +8. What's your next option but to die? But Rage Art is a necessity in Tekken 8 versus like Heat. I just like how it breaks the if we were talking about like breathing space in the fighting game, that's where I believe Heat sits. Heat is literally that gasp of air and then we're back up. I like how Heat is implemented. I do believe Heat needs like a couple more things, like even in my notes, hold on. Because I was working on a video earlier. But I do think they need to do a thing of implementing Heat defensive mechanics. A new, yeah, I have notes. Like as a log, slurs, a new stream overlay for like things that are doing it. AD for signing up. Shirt ideas. Hey, bro, the shirt ideas. They're here. That wish is this one out by now. Also, I don't know how I'm gonna put this together, but like I have my rant and all that stuff. I have my notes. I haven't acted on this. Like I wrote this up like a week ago, I think. But I believe all that he is missing is things to use heat for defensively. We have the things that we can use heat for offensively, but if they can give us like a universal parry that burns heat, or like something that gives us like burst or something, like a burst of some sort while in heat, I think that would be a great way. Or utilizing gray health, using gray health to pay for mechanics or effects. I know I'm from the 2D land, and when we have gray health, like thanks DNF Duel, thanks Tekken 8, Tekken 2, thank you BB Tag. You know, you can, well, no, not BB Tag in a sense because they used a different meter. But if you have gray health, you can use it for defensive options or defensive mechanics in order to get you out of situations. TVC, I haven't played TVC actually, so can't really give TVC that credit. If you say so, I believe it. I believe that we are sitting at the cusp of a great mechanic. They just have to like think about it. They have to just put a little bit more to it, and then I think heat will be perfectly. All they need is a defensive mechanic to weld out heat. That's it. That's it. Once they create a defensive mechanic that can weld out heat, we're in a better position immediately. That definitely could be a Discord game. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. I'm just probably gonna post this up and be like, you know, my feelings on this video. Again, I know I've went off topic, but generally good video. I don't agree with the change that we need to make. Not all of them. End autopilot, I think it's fine. Make movement count, I think it's fine. Let rounds breathe, I don't agree with, but you know, I'm a more intense player. I like to be in these situations more. Most of the stuff that he talks about, like until we get to this part, literally just this section, I think the rest of it, in my personal opinion, is really good. This is the only part where I disagree with is, well, hold on, not even this. This is the only part I really disagree with. Everything else is spot on. I think this is a good watch. However, you know, I'm only one person that plays Tekken. I enjoy this game as much as the next dullard. Or I might be the only person who likes playing this game and doesn't mind competing in it. But again, who else, right? Who else is gonna say, hey, you know, this game is fine. It's just, you have, like, for me, the game is fine. It doesn't really need a lot of changes. I think season 2 is perfectly fine currently. It just needs like 1 to 2 changes where I'm like, okay, whatever you do from here, don't change. If I won't, who will? I mean, yeah. If I don't say it, who will? Like, in the sea of negative comments, in the sea of like negative, like Tekken comments and such, I watch it all the time. I watch K-Wiz talk about it. I watch what's his name? I just subbed to him today. I think Mike Hollow. I just subbed to Mike Hollow today. But like, I completely disagree with a lot of his takes on like the gameplay of it. But when it comes to like other things outside of Tekken, we mostly agree. Moonsault Slayer, I watch him. Finn T. Oh, not Finn the Troll. Finn T, I watch this guy. And again, they come up on my feed all the time. Listen to them a lot. And again, it's a lot of headache for me because I'm just like, I understand where y'all are coming from. Looking back at past Tekkens. But it's obvious the Tekken y'all played and the Tekken that I played from the past, we've had 2 different experiences. And I have to say that that's mostly because these guys, you could tell they used to be competitors in older Tekkens. I was not a competitor until Tekken 7, and then Tekken 7, I got extremely bored of it, so I left for a game that would keep my interest, which was Dragon Ball Fighters. And anybody that's played Dragon Ball Fighters knows from season 1 to season 3, that was a different game per season, and then going from season 3 to now is a whole different game again. Literally, Dragon Ball Fighters is giving us Dragon Ball Fighters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in one fucking game, in one purchase. Fighters 1 compared to Fighters now is, oh, Jesus. Fuck, Fighters 1 compared to Fighters 3 is, God, Jesus, a lot. I understand where they're coming from. I just can't agree with it because where I'm sitting and where they're sitting and how we both look at the game is different.